Hello there and welcome back to a new video. So on the eve of International Women's Day, let's look at one of the most visionary women rulers ever, at least in India. This great ruler in Indore encouraged all within her realm to do their best. Merchants produced their finest clothes, trade flourished, and the farmers were at peace and oppression ceased. For each case that came to the queen's notice was dealt with severely. She loved to see her people prosper and watch the fine cities grow, and to watch that her subjects were not afraid to display their wealth, lest the ruler should snatch it from them. Far and wide the roads were planted with shady trees, wells were made, and rest houses for travelers. The poor, the homeless, the orphaned were all helped according to their needs. This is how Annie Besant described Ahilyabai Holkar. Hindu and Muslim alike revered the famous queen and prayed for her long life. Ahilyabai was 70 years old when her long and splendid life closed. Indore long mourned its noble queen. Happy had been her reign, and her memory is cherished with deep reverence unto this day. Ahilyabai Holkar was a queen in the 18th century Maratha Empire who revived and prospered Bharat and her culture after long years of Islamic invasion and the devastating role of Mughals, especially Aurangzeb. The airport at Indore is named the Ahilyabai Holkar in her honor. 2 universities named after her. There is a statue of Ahilyabai on the premises of Parliament Library building. And in 1996, Indian Philately also released a stamp in her honor. After her name recurring in popular culture and being such an honorable ruler, how many of us really know about her? How many us, more importantly, how many us have learned about her in schools? Well, it doesn't matter because we will be looking at Ahilyabai Holkar's life and legacy in this video. So watch till the end. After the death of Emperor Aurangzeb that ended his 27 years all treacherous rule, the Indian subcontinent was in chaos. It was also a period which is now regarded as the time when the caste system rigidified, at least in the regions where there was once Mughal control. After the tyranny of Aurangzeb, Mughal Empire was in decline and all the subsequent rulers that came were very weak. And the Marathas, who were in constant battle with the Mughal Empire right from the period of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, quickly pushed back against the Mughal Empire. And they emerged greatly successful in most of the subsequent battles. Mughal Empire lost large parts, especially parts of Maharashtra, to Marathas, Malwa and Bundelkhand to Maharaja Chhatrasal. A large part of Punjab was under the control of Sikhs namely Banda Bahadur. With the restoration of Ampere and Jodhpur to Maharaja Savai Jai Singh and Ajit Singh by Bahadur Shah, the area actively controlled by the Mughal kings shrank further. By 1737, Marathas were attacking Delhi, but they settled for Bhopal and then they moved to the east towards Bengal. The Hindu rulers, especially the Marathas, were fighting against the triple threat of the Mughal Empire as existing Mughal Empire, other Islamic invasions that were coming from outside the subcontinent, and also from the intrusions from the west, that is Europe. But they were mostly successful at securing their strongholds against all 3 of these threats. This is definitely a very significant part of Indian history that we completely overlook whenever we talk about it. So I have decided to dedicate another video on how the Maratha Empire rose to power right after the decline of Mughals. So tune in for that and do subscribe. And it was under the patronage of Malwa Holkar, the commander of Peshwa Baji Rao and the lord of Malwa territory, whose 45 years of service have helped expand Maratha Empire from just a territory in Deccan till the Khyber Pass in Pakistan and Bengal in the east, and reached till the very heart of Delhi. And it was under his patronage that Ahilyabai Holkar rose up. Rajamata Ahilyabai Holkar was born in 1725 at Chandi in Maharashtra's Ahmednagar, which is now renamed to Ahilya Nagar. Ahilyabai's father was a patil or a statesman, and he taught his daughter to read and write. Once when Malwa Holkar stopped at Chandi on his way to Pune, he noticed Ahilyabai at the temple, feeding the poor and the hungry. He was taken by the young girl's religiosity, strong character, and her altruistic nature, and he decided to get her son Khanderao to marry her. Malwa Holkar himself belonged to a family that tended to the sheep, the Dangar community. So the marriage to Ahilyabai Holkar, even though she was not nobility, was not a big deal. Malwa Holkar then saw to it that she was educated in administration, in warfare, in artillery, and many other fields. She was being trained to be an excellent stateswoman, which she eventually becomes. And that's when tragedy struck. In 1754, her husband Khanderao was killed by a stray shot fired from the walls of Kumbhar in the Battle of Kumbhar, and she became a widow at 21. She vowed to commit sati right after her husband's death. So was the tradition in India at the time. We have a lot of debates on that. But it was Malwa Holkar who stopped her. And she was trained more aggressively in the matters of administration, governance, and other political aspects, especially the ruling part of her kingdom. Malwa, the son of Khanderao and also the grandson of Malwa, ascends the throne, but he was driven insane and he died within just 1 year of succession. It was then that Ahilyabai Holkar decides to ascend the throne after her father-in-law and her son. She appoints Tukoji Holkar, who was a trusted officer of Malwa and also his cousin, to command her army. After assuming the charge in December 1767, she dedicated the state to Shankar or Shiva. She will manage the state for the benefit of the people only on behalf of Shankar, calling herself only a custodian. Her signature, Sri Shankar, appeared on all royal proclamations. Trade was something that was encouraged a great deal in Ahilyabai Holkar's state, and merchants and farmers flourished. Roads were paved, trees were planted, and rest houses set for travelers in order to facilitate travel and speedy communication. And the capital, Maheshwar, soon turned into a literary, musical, artistic, and industrial center. And we know that the Maheshwari saris are still well known and popular for its fine craftsmanship, and it originates from here. And Indore transformed itself from a village to a prosperous city and wealthy mart for Malwa products. Ahilyabai undertook the task of building and renovating shelters, temples, dharmashalas, huts all across the country, and it was all done through Khaski, or an exclusive fund for charitable and welfare activities dedicated to royalty. From Badrinath to Kedarnath and from Jagannath Puri to Dwaraka and Somnath, you can see the presence of Ahilyabai Holkar. She constructed ghats on rivers throughout India, built new temples, restored damaged ones, dug wells, step wells, and she also started free kitchen for the poor and pilgrims all across the Indian subcontinent. Now, as a greatly spiritual person and a religious person who had dedicated her life to the service of Shiva, she has definitely tried to revive and restore the lost traditions and culture of Hinduism in the country. And that involved patronage to priests and spiritual teachers, to spiritual gurus and philosophers, and also the rebuilding or restoration of almost all the important temples throughout the country. And that is what we will look at next in this video. She restored and renovated temples everywhere in the country except for territories controlled by Afghans, Nawabs or the British. She built temples at Srinagar, Haridwar, Kedarnath, Badrinath, Rishikesh, Prayaga, Varanasi, Puri, Rameshwaram, Somnath, Nasik, Omkareshwar, Mahabaleshwar, Pune, Indore, Sri Sailam, Udupi, Gokarna, Kathmandu, and so on. Of course, the temple she built at Kashi Vishwanath is the most prominent of them all, because the erstwhile Kashi Vishwanath temple was destroyed completely by Aurangzeb, and the Gyanvapi mosque was erected there instead. And she was the person who commissioned the current Kashi Vishwanath temple, constructed in 1776. And in the 19th century, Maharaj Ranjit Singh adorned the temple with the golden shikhar. The design of the Kashi Vishwanath temple to be exactly as how it was described in Shiv Purana. Ahilyabai Holkar also reconstructed the temple at Somnath. Instead of rebuilding the temple at the original desecrated site, she constructed a new Somnath temple nearby. And later, after we got independence, the Somnath temple was rebuilt again at its exact site, later on by Vallabhbhai Patel. But having a Somnath temple with the Jyotirlinga definitely was a great boost for the morale of Hindus at the time. What do you think? Ahilyabai Holkar is known as the philosopher queen of Malwa, and her attitudes against the British traders really shows how capable and strategic she was in politics and administration. In a letter to the Peshwa in 1772, she warned against the association with British and likened their embrace to a bear hug. Other beasts like tigers can be killed by might and contrivance, but to kill a bear, it is very difficult. It will die only if you kill it straight in the face, or else once caught in its powerful hold, the bear will kill its prey by tickling. Such is the way of the English, and in view of this, it is difficult to triumph over them. And see how true that it turned out. And it was from Bengal, the only place that the Maratha Empire could not have control on, that the English Empire or the English colonial period began. That is the Battle of Plassey. And after a short period of 2 centuries under Maratha Empire, where our culture, our traditions and our philosophies were once again restored to at least half its former glory, that we were oppressed and colonized once again. And I have made videos on all of this, so if you are interested, please do go and check out the rest of the videos on colonialism, medieval history and also ancient Indian history. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button and also share it with somebody just before the International Women's Day. So please subscribe for more videos like this. I'm definitely gonna make a video on the rise of Maratha Empire. So tune in, subscribe, and until we meet next time, bye bye. Well, it goes without saying that I don't have a sponsor yet, but not to worry, I will sponsor my own video, more precisely my book with. This is the first book that I wrote. It's a realistic fiction novel about 4 teens in a city enmeshed in a life of drugs, love, violence and chaos. A tale of isolation and desperation one feels among known strangers in an unknown city. Well, this book is available on Amazon and Flipkart. The links will be in the description. I will also share the link to the video trailer of the book, so check them out.